The manga series of Ressentiment, you can feel, takes heavy influence from the series of Chobits, but it does its own things to stand out. The main character here is different from any of the other main characters, which you'll find in a lot of different anime or manga series, because you really feel bad for this guy. He's very overweight, he's got this really greasy skin, he's going bald, and he lives with his parents still. He's 30 years old, and he's a very desperate virgin. You feel for this guy, you feel bad for him throughout the series, and he works at this paper company. They print paper, and one of his friends, he's got this other friend, which is very similar to him. It's this really short guy, and he's also baldy, and he's very fat, but he's coming to work saying, like, oh, my girlfriend does this and this and this, and nobody wants to believe the guy, but then he says that he has 5 girlfriends. Of course, nobody believes that either. The main character, Takuro, goes over to his house to see the women, and it turns out that they're actually virtual women, but they're not just any virtual woman like you'd find in a Galgame game, you know, the visual novels. They are actually women inside of this virtual reality world called Unreal. But basically, you wear this helmet, it's like this visor, and you put these gloves on, and you can see everything, you can feel everything with your hands, of course, and basically you're just walking around the room, but you're inside of this alternate reality, and you can feel everything that you touch with your hands. You can actually feel more than the things that you touch with your hands, but you have to get like a bodysuit and like a mouthpiece, and also a piece for your junk as well, because that's part of the series as well. So because of this experience, Takuro is convinced that he's got to spend every dollar that he has saved up to buy a computer, to buy the hardware to play Unreal, and also to buy a game so that he can have a girl. He buys the game that's underneath the shelf, just this dusty old shelf in the back. He buys this game, and it turns out that the girl inside of the game is actually special. It's kind of like Chobits in the way, because the girl inside the game, she's actually like a real girl, even though she's completely AI. She's not a real person at all, but she has all of the qualities of a real girl. She can learn, she can feel, she has emotions and things like that. But the main character, it takes him a bit to even realize this, because as soon as he buys the game, he puts it in. Of course, he's not going to think like, okay, this character has emotions, so I shouldn't do certain things. So as soon as he puts the game in, he wants to have sex with her, but you can't do that in like the dating sim games. You've got to, you know, you've got to talk to the woman, and then like halfway through the game, then that happens. But he wants it as soon as he puts the game in. So he puts it in, and he's chasing her around this little log cabin, crying with his hands up, just screaming, "Show me a punani!" And she's like running away from him, and it was just a really funny experience. So with this series, you feel bad for the main character, but at the same time, in the way they portray his desperation, they do it in a comedic way, so it's kind of funny at the same time. So you feel bad for him, but also you laugh. And then the other characters in the world, like the character of his boss, I really liked his boss character. I probably liked her as much as I liked him. But this series, it does a lot of weird things, because eventually there's a part in the series where they combine the servers of all of the different games set within the Unreal. So basically you've got the people who play the RPGs, the first-person shooters, the dating sim games, they're all on the same server, and you've got the people who play like the Call of Duty games, running around with an army of people with guns, stealing all of the women from the games that the people who bought the dating sims bought, and then they'll keep them for themselves, so they open up brothels, and it's pretty unique that they would do something like that. I found that very interesting. So from reading this story, I would have expected it to be some sort of romance between a guy and a girl in this game, and then it changes up to be this story about this world and a mystery about where she came from, why does she exist, and then also you've got an antagonist within the game as well. And this antagonist, it's really weird that they added him. I kind of feel like near the end of this manga series, the writer didn't really know what to do, because things kind of fall apart in the end of it. Things just go really crazy. So Ressentiment really just plays with your emotions here, because you start off really caring for the main character, because you feel bad for him because of his situation, and then later on, you see this darker side of him because of his desperation and the things that he does to the girl in the game. You feel bad for her as well, because she can feel, and then also the mystery of her. You want to learn more about her, but then also you get disappointed with her character later on as well, because she does some pretty messed up things as well. You've got the character's boss. in his real world, and you start off not really liking her, and then you turn out to like her more, or I did at least. I really liked her character later on, but then she changes up as well, and I started not to like her as well near the end of the series. So all around, it's like a roller coaster of emotions for all the different characters. You feel different ways about them than you did in the beginning of the series. I'm not sure if this is because of bad writing or not, because it does get kind of weak at the end of the series, I'll admit. And the ending of this, I didn't like the ending at all. I really felt like there would be one specific ending to the series. You know, this is something that you're reading like, okay, I'm pretty sure I know what's going to happen here. You're just going through the pages like you know what's going to happen, but then it gives you something completely different. I have to give it points for just switching it up and just blowing my mind that way, because I didn't expect anything like that at all to happen, but at the same time, I didn't like the ending of it at all. And at the end of the series, so many messed up things happen. I can't really talk about it because I don't want to spoil it for everybody, because I'm pretty sure that the majority of the people watching this video have not read the series, because it's a pretty underrated series, but still I recommend it to everybody, even though the writing at the end of the series kind of falls apart. Also, one thing that's interesting within the series is that at the end of some chapters, you will have special notes from the mangaka, the creator of the series, saying where he got the influences from certain things. Like, say, for example, the main character's house, that is the house that the author lived in. The workplace of the character is actually the workplace of the mangaka, and also there was like some of the other places were places that he had visited as well, so it's kind of things that he took in reference from his own life, so that's very interesting. But then later on it becomes you know, more original of things that he created, and you get to see the world map, and he shows like different places of this unreal world. The art style here is also pretty good just because it's very gritty. You see the main character with his oily, greasy skin, he's balding, he's all fat and with pimples, and he's got like this stubble growing all over his face, and it's very graphic in a lot of spots, because there's like this one part where he was in his room just running around, because you don't actually sit still when you're playing the game, you actually just get up and run around, so he'll like slam his face into the walls and it'll be pretty funny. And then one time he dived after something and he like rolled down the stairs in his house, and there he is with his legs up in the air, and he's sitting there in his tidy whities with his junk hanging out, and his mom's just sitting there looking at him like she's just scarred and is like all hairy. And needless to say, this is a mature series. It's very graphic in nature. It's got some like sexual content, and also I wouldn't consider that sexual, but it's pretty bad. So anyways, this series, looking past the weak writing and points, it's very interesting because it really just changes what you think about the characters or the story in general, and also it's pretty funny. It's 49 chapters, so it's not really that long at all. Go ahead and check it out. So I definitely recommend this if you're mature, of course, like the things I said earlier, and also if you're a fan of Chobits, go ahead and check it out, and you can see the similarities between the series. So anyways, if you've read Ressentiment, let me know your thoughts about it in the comment section below. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you later.